Peace to everybody. This is Serf here with a tutorial teaching everybody how to hook up M8 headless tractor to a Steam Deck and the accessories that you're going to need and how to do it from start to finish and maybe even do a song. So stick with me if you want to learn and I'll let you know. First of all, you're going to need your Steam Deck. You're going to need the USB-C to USB micro B 2.0 cable to hook up the Teensy 4.1 to the Steam Deck. Now the Teensy 4.1 is the motherboard that's going to run the M8 headless tracker and be able to do everything that I've been showing you guys on my Steam Deck. This is the cord, the cable that you're going to need that goes the USB micro B 2.0 in goes there, and then the USB-C goes into your Steam Deck. In order to get all that, you are going to have to go directly into the desktop on your Steam Deck after you hook up everything and start it from there. We're going to get into that next. Alright, so you guys are want to go to your browser after you get it all hooked up. Search m8.run, m8.run, and then the first one that'll come up is M8 display. You don't want to go to that. It'll take you straight into M8 display. It shouldn't ask you to connect, but if it does, it'll tell you connect, all that stuff. Let me go full screen here. You actually also have the option to run the app, so I recommend running the app. Press open, and you can go right here to the left, give you your options, show controls, which is the controls that are the buttons that are for you to map on the Dirty Wave. Has the same controls. I'm not really too familiar. I had to look up everything to map everything up to my Steam Deck the same way I liked it. So I'll show you what I have and stuff in a little bit. Hide menu, enable audio, which of course you want on. You have your display types, which is for your preference to your web browser. Snap pixels, virtual keyboard, prevent sleep, which keeps your screen on at all times. Control mapping. Now control mapping is, like I said, where you map your stuff. On the Dirty Wave, all the controls are right there the same way on there. You can map it to all your triggers. I did mine, and I'll show you in a little bit how I did it to how I like it, and it was easier for me. So it's up to the user, up to you guys to do it the way you like it and the way you prefer it. And let me see what else. You can go full screen like that. Now to take this off, you go show controls off, show controls on. Control mapping. So that's the controls for up, down, side, of course. Up, down, side. And then shift, I use A, which I have it mapped down. So, and then I use the arrow buttons. You can use those two, up, down, for your shift to go through everything you need to. Shift to the right. To go through all your screens, everything you need to input, phases, instruments, everything like that. I already have a song laid out here. Let me see if I can get it back to full screen without the controls. to go back and forth like between screens, like say if I'm in instruments. Here you can edit the sample. I have all my samples loaded into my micro SD card that you have to put into the Teensy 4.1. The way to do that is you get your micro SD card, put it on a SD card to put into your computer, load all your samples, anything you need to do there. Then you put it back into the Teensy hook it up to the Steam Deck, and then you're able to pick samples, pick drum kicks, pick snares, bass lines, whatever you put into your Teensy 4.1 micro SD card to sample from there. Then you're able to use it here on the MA headless tracker. You have to format the card though to put it sample folders, songs, stuff like that. There is a tutorial. I'm not too sure where exactly it is or who did it, but there is a tutorial on YouTube on how to format that stuff. I followed it step by step. If I could find it, I will put the link in my description. Hopefully I did. It's been a while, almost a year and a half since I learned how to do this, but yeah, and we continue on. Alright, so after you press show controls, you turn them off. This is what you get. You go back to your full screen. So here we have your full screen. Now, those who are familiar with using the Dirty Wave will know how to already do all this stuff, how to load samples, how to do stuff like that. It's a step sequencer, so you use numbers 0, 1 through 7F. They have different ones where it goes up to 9F to you can put 10, 11, 12, 13. I use 0 start off my sample. The FEs are your dead zones. Those are what you want to put, so this way you can fill in the space, because when you start a song, as you watch, the green arrows you're gonna all want them to go in sequence, go with the song. So in order to do that, you would hit Shift, go to the right, and your chain. So my chain is where I have my samples at. 10 is the 2 sample chops, is the same sample chop, and then I put another sample chop for 40. Now I press Y. Y is where you press play. You can press play, then stop if you want to play your songs or your tracks, or even your individual sample or drum kick or whatever you're gonna look to change or look to edit or anything like that. The way you would do that is when you're on a track, like your individual, see this 0, 10 is my samples, 0 is individual sample. Now FE, like I said, is a dead zone, so you would go to that. You're going to want to put as many as 1, 2, 3, 4 to 5 steps, the same way that it is where the sample is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I have the sample like this with sample, dead zone, samples, dead zone, because of the way it plays. And the sample starts again. Then it's dead zone. Then it's dead zone. It's a way to let the sample continue out, to play out. Sort of, a way to find where you can get into other chops and stuff like that. So you're going to go back, and those are for the samples to start off. That's how I do at the beginning of my song. And to start off, like say the first verse with, this is sample, drums, snares. Now sample, go into it. I have 4 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now 10, 10, 10 is all the same drum pattern. 40 is a different drum pattern. You can put the same drums, but when you lay out your drums for the pattern, they're different patterns, so you would have to put them in different numbers in order to get different patterns on certain sequences of the song. And I'll show you in a little bit. So these. Now those are the chops of the sample. 10, 10, 10, 40. Went through one chop, another chop, another chop. See how it's just one sample? The phrase you would put on in the beginning, and you would always put start. So start, C4 is the note you're going to always want it at. Volume is your volume of the sample. You can switch that by pressing select, or you can hear it actually by pressing your right trigger up on top, you know, and preview your sample and stuff like that. But to select it, you would press select, so you could switch the volume back and forth trigger. I keep it at 64. It's a good volume for everything I have on there for the samples and stuff. And then I want to hook it up to my SP 404 MK2, and then I mix and master everything from there. But anyway, so phase 10 is the number of the instrument that I'm doing. And when you do your FX, you're always going to want to put it at the start of the sample. So that's STA. You would press right trigger up. You would press the right trigger on the right side on top and go all the way down. It'll take you through the different sequencer effects. Current instrument is what you want to go to. And then you go to STA, which is start. There you to put the start. It'll start at the start of every sample. The start of the sample where you chopped it at, where you started to chop at. Now to chop samples and to do that, well, actually here, let me teach you guys how to load your samples. So your instrument type, you go all the way where to the I, which is your instrument, and you have up here you have your type. You would go to, you can press right trigger, which is select, and then go to the right, to the left, you have your sampler types. Keeps telling me to, because I already have the name. But anyway, you have your types. You could put in different samples that you have from the SD card that you have, the built-in samples and the stuff that's used on the M8 headless tracker. You can go through all that. You can go to your samples to where everything is. This is what I have on my card, you know, samples and everything. And then you just load whatever sample it is. Oops. You load whatever sample it is that you want. Then you can go to edit, and you can edit the sample from beginning to end. Cut. This is where you go to, you know, to micro cut it. You would hold select left to right to micro cut it. Then to cut it bigger, select up, select down. Then you can play the sample. You know, stuff like that. Find where you want to start it, begin it. Right here's the end of the song where you want to, you know, chop it, stuff like that. Select the right trigger up top. And then if you don't want nothing, you just go back. So that's for your first phrase. And then it would do the same thing with the, when you want to do your sample chops, you put them in a chain, chop, chop, chop. You guys get the picture. For your drum breaks, same thing. Go directly to there. You go to your sampler. I loaded my drum kicks that I use for what I use to make beats. So I picked it, sample kick number 1. You can edit it same way. Down here you have detune, degrade, have all that stuff that you're able to do to your individual sample. Start options, loop settings, slice, on and off. I don't really mess with a lot of this stuff. I do use detune depending if the sample is fast or slow. You can detune the sample without having to change the whole BPM of the beat. The way you do that actually to change the BPM of the beat is you go right here for the tempo. You have your live quantize, your MIDI settings. You can name your song, project, load, save, export, share, do all this stuff with all that. That's on your project page, which is P, first up there. So with your drums, I got a couple drum patterns here. Go through them real quick. There you go. Now they do sound similar, but believe me, they're a little different. One's slower than the other because of the sample. So that's why I have them. But see, I used a chain of 20 and I used the next one, 21, just to put another whole little sample loop, a whole little phrase on there on the chain and put it different, and was able to do what I needed to with that. You do the same thing with your snares. And from there you can just place them where you need to. I don't really use the table for nothing. I haven't really had to use that yet. All this other stuff to me is extra. If you guys want to go through it and figure it out and let me know what y'all do with it, let me know. But like I said, I don't really use that. Never needed to. You got a mixer here, so when your song starts playing, you can see the EQs and everything that you need. You can see through that too. To go to the limiter, you would press the right trigger. You can see the limiter scope. Adjust all your peaks and everything you needed to on there too throughout your song. But as I said, it's through pattern. Everything you make, then you just place everything where you need to, where you think it sounds good. Chop your sampled breaks, your drum breaks, whatever you decide. I mean, whatever kind of music you guys make out there. But this is how I do soulful beats on the MA Headless tracker. Map it out. As I said before, you're going to want to do the same number of phrases on each line. This way it can all go in sequence. See how I have everything going right here? I have 4 on there, 4 on there, and 4 on there. And they all go down in sequence all the way. So it gets to the last one, that's where I have 5, but that's how this chorus is. And from there you can just repeat your sequences and make whole songs. You go here, you can mix and master it. Like I said, you got everything here for your instruments, for your individual sounds. Here you can do what you want with the song, save it, tempo, slow everything down, speed everything up. Let me see, what else did I miss? I haven't really needed to use this page either. Don't really know exactly what it's about. Instrument pools, where you can sit and individually mess with your kicks, your drums, or excuse me, your drums, your snares, your samples, and test them to see where they're at, what velocity everything is, if you need to change anything. I don't really mess with this page, so I don't really need to. But for those who are more in depth with the Dirty Wave and probably know a lot more than I do, that's the kind of thing you would want to check out and stuff like that. But this is, to me, the simplest way on how to make beats on the Steam Deck. I enjoy it. It's mind-boggling. It got me frustrated at first, but learning how to do it and making clean beats and then running them through the SP404 and Mach 2 to mix and master stuff really comes out nice. I don't really add nothing else from the Mach 2, just a little bit of vinyl slim filter and a couple other things that I use to clean my beats up. Other than that, everything else is made on here. If you got any questions, let me know. I'm glad to explain anything that I missed. But that's basically how you hook up the MA Headless tracker to a Steam Deck and everything you need to get it running. I hope I was able to explain everything in depth for what you guys needed. As I said, this is a fun way to make portable beats. It's on the go. I do use the iVolar dock to sit it, and I would recommend it because it does get hot. So if you're sitting there trying to make beats and you want to sit on there, because it is time consuming. It took me 4 or 5 hours to get my first beat when I made my first beat on this thing. But yeah, once you get the hang of it and you learn steps, I mean, if you're pretty good with Ableton and everything else, and you're good with step sequencers and trackers and stuff, you should be able to get the hang of this. The only thing is learning how to map up stuff on Steam Deck. And like I said, it's to your own preference. There is some tutorials out there that tell you how to exactly do it exactly to the Dirty Wave. But as I said, I've never had a Dirty Wave. I never used it. This was the first time I ever used tracker DAW on anything. So me learning how to do this, took some time, but I got it. So I know damn well if I can get it, y'all can get it, and you'll enjoy it when you do. Can't wait to hear what y'all are gonna make out there. Hopefully y'all get on the Steam Deck gang instead of spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on that M8, on that Dirty Wave. I mean, believe me, I almost did myself, but I found the cheaper way. No latency, no lags. Have no problems with it. I've made 2 tapes already, about to be on my 3rd. So yeah, I recommend the MA Headless tracker gear on Steam Deck for easy, fun, portable beat making. Happy journeys, y'all. Stay up. Peace.